Welcome to the Weigh In Podcast, your prescription for a healthier life, where wellness is more than just a number on a scale. We'll dive deep into not just weight loss, but the medical, emotional, and lifestyle aspects of well-being.
In each episode, we'll weigh in on hot topics ranging from diet myths and exercise trends to mental health and chronic disease management, providing you with the evidence-based advice to guide your health decisions. Remember, it's not just about the weight on the scale, but about creating a healthier, more balanced you.
Hey.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Better compared to last week because we had a terrible heat wave coming through, which was like 100 degrees in LA proper, which is unusual. It was bad. And we also don't have AC. So yeah, just burning through hell.
Wait, you don't have AC?
We're close to the beach, like Santa Monica and Culver City, and I think parts of Inglewood don't have AC because we're close to the beach. And normally it doesn't get up to 100 degrees here. So yeah, it was very bad. But we got through it. So yeah, now it's chilly. It's like a nice 70 degrees outside.
Oh yeah, so you're like super happy, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And you're post your Hawaii trip, right? It looked so fun. I saw all the pictures on the gram.
Yes, Hawaii was amazing. Went there for a friend's birthday and went to Maui, which I've been to before. My other two friends hadn't gone. So especially after like the fires in Lahaina, it's terrible because my other friend was supposed to go during that time, but she had to cancel her trip. They've definitely recovered. You could sort of tell some parts that were like burned down, but overall, like it pretty much looks the same as before. It was great. Went snorkeling, and I hadn't done that in a few years because I don't know. I was just afraid of the water for a little bit. And but they gave me a life vest, and we had pool noodles and stuff. So saw lots of fish down there, and then we saw a turtle, and so yeah, it was very, very cool. But
I'm so glad that you had fun.
Yeah. The thing with Maui, though, it's definitely more low-key versus going to Oahu, because Oahu's more of a city. I think they do have a freeway out there. I haven't been there in a while, so I don't remember. But Maui is just 2-lane roads, and it takes you 40 minutes to get from one side of the island to the other.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes up to 2 hours, yeah. So it's a lot of driving, but it's just so pretty because you just see water or just a bunch of trees. Yeah.
That's so cool. You probably felt like you were like in a postcard.
Oh yeah, definitely. Super fun, and I loved it. I always love Hawaii. I can never say no. Yeah.
I'm so glad you enjoyed your trip. And we have another one coming up soon.
I know, gosh. Back to the Philippines again. Yeah, this time for a friend's wedding. So I'll be leaving, next Friday. Crazy.
Oh my gosh, crazy. And then you'll be back, and then you're done traveling for a little bit?
Aside from going back to my in-laws who are in Kansas, so we'll be going there for Christmas.
Oh yeah, that's like your norm though, right? It's a little Kansas. All throughout the year, in-laws in Kansas.
Yep, yeah. And the weather would be completely opposite over there. It'd be negative 2 degrees again, probably. We shall see.
It's so funny when you're gone. I'm like, I miss Serena. And then Mark is like, wait, she literally always is away from you. She always is in California. You're acting like she's actively in Pennsylvania right now and she left. I'm like, you don't understand. Forget it. You don't understand.
No, it's true. I mean, we do. I feel like I talk to you more than I do some of my other friends. I only see them maybe once a month. But yeah, us, it's pretty much almost every day.
I know, literally every day. It's really obvious in our group chat when somebody's out of town or away. It feels.
Yeah, they're just not talking as much.
Yeah, it's just silence.
Yeah.
I wait to see what somebody's response is going to be. Then I'm like, oh, never mind.
Yeah. Well, how about you? How's the second office location going in
Second
Delaware?
office location is going well. I think we've been open for almost a month now. So yeah, it's going well. It definitely feels like things have like come together, and we're kind of getting like going into like that autopilot mode where you kind of like know what you're doing when you go there. The first few times it feels weird, but no,
Yeah.
that second location is doing well. And in better news, as you know, I've been somehow amidst like running two offices and seeing lots of patients. I've also been picking up shifts at the hospital because it's so hard to like, cut ties. For those of my fellow adrenaline junkies out there, you know what I mean. I've been like an ER girly for what feels like my whole life. And yeah, I've been doing it for so long, but ties get cut next week. So I am officially done with hospital life and full-time life firing all the time, nothing else, which is going to be really cool.
Oh,
I'm very
I'm
much
so
so looking
proud of
forward to it.
you.
Yes. Yes. It's
That's
always hard
amazing.
to leave things that you love, that you feel like are a part of you, but sometimes you have to. And I don't think that there's anything I've ever loved work-wise as much as Lifefire, so it's totally worth it.
Yeah, especially the comfort. Like you've been in the hospital for, I'm sure, several years, and so it just must be
Mm-hmm.
feel weird to not step into a hospital anymore. And like, but I'm so happy for you. You're able to like finally pour in all your time into Lifefire,
Yes.
especially having two locations.
Yes.
So I can imagine it's going to be very busy very soon.
Yes. Very true. Oh, okay. So let's talk about news. What you got?
Yes, so Zepbound, as we talked about last time, has become more available. They're really trying to cut the middleman and they're trying to just make it available for customers, which I'm happy, really happy that they're doing that. But as they were in the process of doing so, they also had increased the price of the pens. So for people that were able to get it through insurance, or sorry, let me rephrase that. If they had a doctor's prescription, but their
Right.
insurance didn't cover, Eli Lilly would give you a coupon and you would pay $5.50 a month at all doses. But they have vials that they can give you now through Zepbound. They're offering it at $5.50 a month. And so they also increased the price of the pens. So from $5.50 it went up to $6.50 for a 1 month supply of the Zepbound pens. So that's kind of a bummer for some people, and I guess it's just to make them be like, okay, well, if I can't get the pens, I'll just get the vial instead. Um, but again, there's always other clinics that offer it at either the same price or less. Um, but I think another thing to kind of think about here is that like, okay, you have the medication. I don't know what's involved with the Zepbound, getting it directly. I don't think there's a provider that's involved in there because you don't even need a
Mm-hmm.
prescription apparently, right? So you're not getting any guidance as to what do I do after this, or oh, I have nausea, or I'm having these side effects. Like, is there a
I
support
have
number?
I truly have no idea. Um, all I know is, and just to backpedal a little bit, you said it quite well, but just to kind of reiterate it, because I know, like, in hearing this, some people might be a little bit confused. Basically, it used to be that you could get the Zepbound pen. You still can get the Zepbound pen. Your doctor prescribes you Zepbound, which is the brand name for what we know as tirzepatide, and you were prescribed the pen. If you did not have coverage for the pen, the cost of the drug was $550. And that's what people were doing, or many people were doing. And I'll add this too. They were doing it, but not always consistently, because let's not forget that Eli Lilly has had a shortage. But they were doing this. What happened is Eli Lilly decided that they were going to release vials that would be more accessible and less expensive, which I agree with Serena is absolutely fantastic. A vial that's about $400 that has that low dose that you take for the first 4 weeks, and then a vial that sort of has what we think of as a standard dose, which is 550. And by vial, I mean the little thing that is liquid in that you draw up. For those of you that are on compounded medications, it's a similar type of concept. What they did though when they released this is they also very quietly increased the cost of that pen. So people that were already on the drug, they either need to just like pay out of pocket and do the vial, which can be problematic, right? Just because if you are somebody who needs the pen for whatever reason and has been using the pen, it's probably going to be a little bit frustrating to like suddenly have to like have the price go up without a ton of notice in advance. And yeah, so that's sort of what Serena's referencing, is the fact that the price of the pen went up. These vials are now available, which I agree. I think is amazing. I mean, it's wonderful. I mean, that's the cost of the drug, much less expensive than Eli Lilly was offering it before. Personally, and you can tell me what you would do, right? Let's pretend that we're not weight loss providers and that we're patients. If you were a patient, would you go with this vial option that Eli Lilly has? Yes or no?
Again, because I mean, if I'm someone who just doesn't know what I'm doing, like I like talking to somebody and I like getting that guidance and just calling and just being like, am I doing this right? And, you know, and then if I want to increase, like, what's the cost of that? You know, it's $549 for like certain dosages, but like, it's okay. So how much is it going to be if I want to go up to 7.5 or more? So
that would be your reason. You'd be like, I feel like I need more support than this. I'd rather do like a weight loss program that kind of includes everything, because this is a lot of money to spend to like not know how to take it. Or
right. And it's
because I take it incorrectly.
Right. And like we, as we talked about many times before, like weight loss is not just medication. Like it's a good tool to have, but there's so many other things that go into it, and it would be frustrating if you're paying like $549 a month and you aren't losing anything. Like, can you imagine? Or you're just not happy with your results, but who's going to be accountable? I don't know if you get to talk to somebody through Eli Lilly. If you have it through your insurance, you have your doctor. But if you don't, if you're paying for it out of pocket, like, yeah, who's responsible?
Yeah, I don't know. And if you're listening and you are using their vial plan, please like reach out to us and let us know, because we're genuinely curious. Zarina, I also wouldn't go for it if it were me, taking the provider hat off and as a patient. And it's actually for a different reason, which is this. Maybe I'm a distrustful person in general, but they were literally just having a major shortage of the drug. And there was no talk, even for like a chunk of the summer, of there necessarily being an imminent end in sight. They were having a major shortage of the drug that another major GLP-1 company, Novo Nordisk, has not been able to overcome for like not weeks, not months, right? Like years. They've sort of been struggling on and off with this shortage. And so I guess for me, my issue would be like, how do I even know that y'all really have it though, right? Like, am I going to buy my first month or two and then you guys don't have it anymore?
Yep.
Right? Like for me, that would be like, I'm always a little bit hesitant, like about being like the first of like doing anything, you know what I mean? So I would just be like, I don't know, like, do you guys really have it for real? And like, am I really going to get it consistently? Because this was a huge problem before. And I know people, right? Again, provider hat off. I have friends that maybe use like these medications as prescriptions who still can't get the drug consistently. And I'm still right now getting patients who cannot get the drug from their pharmacy prescribed, which is why they're coming for the compounded version. So my point is that I don't know that I would yet feel 1,000% comfortable or confident that they had the supply completely together. Again, I don't know, and maybe I'm being overcautious, and I can't wait to see what people's experiences are. And I'm hopeful that this will not be the case, because that would be amazing if the price stayed reasonable and if the medication was accessible and people were able to get it and get it consistently. But consistency is key when you're on a weight loss journey. And again, if I'm paying $550 a month, $400 a month, etc., I'm gonna need you to be committed to making sure that I get my drugs every month when I lose the weight. You know what I mean? I don't have time for like a 3 or 4 week delay or an indefinite delay. And like, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I'm just saying historically, they've been struggling with a shortage. So, and I haven't really seen, it's pretty hard for these drug companies to overcome shortages. So, like I said, maybe they have gazillions of these vials. They very well may. And maybe this will be something that makes it like super accessible to people. But I think if it were me, I probably would be like watching very carefully to see like, can I trust this? Is it really going to happen?
Yeah, and just again going to the suspiciousness is that like, okay, how is the quality of the medication? Because if they were able to like, get all, if they were supposedly able to meet the demand of all this, like, were there shortcuts here? It just seems a little off. And then secondly, I think like I've had a couple of my clients, and I don't know if this is true of your clients too, Katie, but like some of them have had some GI issues unrelated to the medication. Like it could have been the stomach flu or something. But again, who's going to be accountable for like letting them know, oh, you should probably take a break for however long while you're having these stomach issues. I don't want you to take anything that's going to, irritate it even more if you're still taking GLP-1s. It's just so important to have guidance. Like, again, I'm really glad that Zepbound is making it available for people, but it's just, I think eliminating a provider in this aspect is similar to just giving insulin to a diabetic without letting them know what to do, or giving them blood pressure medications without letting them know the parameters or whatnot. It just seems it just seems irresponsible and almost neglectful, I would say. I think it's just really important to have somebody monitor you, and they don't seem to have any process in place for that. It just seems like they're a pharmacy, and here's the medication, go on your way.
Any process in place that we can tell, which is problematic in and of itself. I found it kind of difficult to get all the information that I needed when I went on their website. But like I said, if for some reason there are tons of supportive providers that they are offering to their patients with like regular checkups, and the medication comes consistently, then I think that that's amazing. And my hope for people is that they are able to get this drug consistently. And although I completely agree, Serena, that like ideally people get help and consistency and support while on these drugs, I will also say that there is a category of people who have maybe gotten to their goal weight and are on this drug for maintenance, who maybe don't need as much guidance.
Yeah.
And these people might be really, really excited at the prospect of being able to access the vial regardless of whether or not there's like a provider involved, or maybe their PCPs are going to like kind of own that and help with that. So whatever. I mean, I think that would be great if that's the case, right? Like you're already on Eli Lilly, maybe you lost like 100 pounds. You're tirzepatide, you already lost 100 pounds, and it's been 6 months, and you don't really have much to say to anybody anyway about it. You just want the drug. And if that's the case, I think that it could be a really useful tool. I think what becomes difficult and problematic is when you lose access to the drug, right? That's like incredibly disruptive, especially because it's such an amazing tool. Any type of delay can really affect your progress. It can set you back a lot. So I would just be like a little bit careful and cautious, or try to get more information first.
Right. Just ask the questions and make sure you know what you're getting into. And I think one thing that I like to do is just the reason why provider is important is because you get to go over their medical history and see, is this a good candidate for this medication? Because there are contraindications for GLP-1s. Like it's not recommended for every single person to take it. The reason why is because, there is a risk of getting the medullary thyroid carcinoma, especially if you've had like gastric bypass surgery, or if you have history of diabetes, if you're already on a similar medication, like for example, Saxenda, Victoza, you shouldn't be taking Zepbound, or any of these GLP-1 medications. There's just doesn't seem to be any oversight over who's getting, who it should be available to. So that's just one thing that scares me, is that some people that were told no, they might go here to Eli Lilly and be like, you know what, I really want my Zepbound, regardless of the risks.
I completely agree. It is indeed very worrisome if they don't get sort of that provider support. But to play devil's advocate, for those people that didn't care to have provider support, I would rather them get it directly from Eli Lilly than get it from like, some weird
some research med.
Some research, you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather them do that than get like rat powder or whatever on earth it is that people like come into my office sometimes that they got from other companies. So for that, like I said, it could be something that's useful, but ultimately, if you want to be successful, Eli Lilly aside, like if you want to be successful with your weight loss, it's important to get support. However it is that you want to get that, whether it's by going to like a medical weight loss clinic and seeking the help of a provider, whether it's doing like some other formalized weight loss program, whether it's joining a support group, like support is key.
Yeah.
Because I can't tell you right now, like our patients need and get a lot of TLC from us. Like in a given week, I spend a lot of time responding to messages with questions. I spend a lot of time responding to text messages. I spend a lot of time responding to emails, lots and lots of questions. And I know that like we're really responsive. I know that you're really responsive, but I just can't picture a lot of these big companies are not as responsive necessarily.
Right.
And in general, if your medication is being prescribed from a pharmacist, it's just a different experience. It doesn't mean that it's a bad experience. It's a different experience. And that different experience might be great for certain personalities and for certain people, but it's not great for everyone. So you have to figure out what's going to work best for you. And definitely we'll be keeping like a close eye because it seems to be an ever-changing.
Right. Yeah. So of course, if you ever have any questions, or if you always, if you want to get a consult through either of us, you could always go to my website, thealistclinic.com if you're in California. If you're in Pennsylvania or Delaware, you can go to lifefireweight.com. Today we have Zachary Elfman. He's a local business owner. He owns 610 Fitness, located in Springfield.
Yes.
Not the Springfield that they talked about in the debate, right?
Yes, not from the debate.
In Philadelphia. He is also a personal trainer, level 1 weightlifting coach, TRX certified, powerlifting coach, and exercise recovery specialist. Most of all, he is a loving father, son, and friend. Being an athlete himself, having his own gym to help others is great. He's been extremely fortunate to work with hundreds of athletes from NCAA, high school, and youth athletes. Above all, he believes in delivering an amazing experience for all athletes. So welcome to the podcast, Zach.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
And just as an aside, that was a very nice biography, but 610 Fitness is extremely popular out here in this area. Everybody loves it. I was recently in one of those like local Facebook groups where somebody's like, I need a good gym. And I was like, I'm going to write 610 Fitness. And I looked and like everybody else had written 610 Fitness too.
Listen,
which is awesome.
It's
you guys
great
are becoming
the members,
in
the members
Delco.
here, they hop on that. They waste no time whatsoever. We have some of these members are coming from New Jersey, Warmminster. I used to have somebody who was coming from Lansdale. So yeah.
That's awesome.
So even though we had people that moved away, they still come in.
I love that.
That's great. Amazing.
So Zach, what inspires you to become a personal trainer? And kind of tell us about what your approach is when you work with a client, like with a new client, for example.
So I guess what inspired me was the fact that I have worked for other corporations that, like franchises out there, other gyms, and I saw kind of what they were offering and what they weren't offering, and there wasn't a personal touch with a lot of the gyms or personal training. Some of these big franchises have the gym, but they don't have personal trainers there. And when it comes down to their members wanting to learn a movement or how to use a machine, basically they would have their phone out and use a QR code to figure out how to use the equipment.
Oh, wow.
And so being at these gyms and being a member and working there, I kind of got fed up with working for somebody else and wanted to give a little bit more of a personal touch. So to your second part of the question, like with the members, is when they come in, they, you greet them like anybody else You got to be polite. You have to be upfront with everything. You make sure that you get like a little bit of history on why they're there, what their motivation is to be here. And then I go into our assessment, which is flexibility, range of motion, and mobility. And we do these somewhat dynamic or sometimes unorthodox warm-ups for me to see basically your range of motion and whether or not like how tight your traps or how tight your lats are. We're basically checking your posterior chain, which for some people who might not know is just your spine, and seeing, do you have that range of motion to be able to touch your toes? Or, when I'm asking you to take a dumbbell and put it over your head, is the dumbbell going straight up or are you going up and out? Or when you're doing that, like overhead, are you leaning back? Because our bodies are so used to leaning back to try to get a weight up that we forget to activate our core.
Yep. That also is so important just for people that are new to working out in terms of making sure that they have proper body mechanics so they don't get hurt when they're starting to work out for the first time. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, so I don't like when anybody comes in, we don't start with anything heavy right away. An example is I had a woman who just started last week, and her biggest concern has been core. And she was like, are we ever going to just do a core day? And I explained to her that every movement we do, we activate our core in order to bench press or overhead press or even squat, even if it's body weight or weights. So we start off light with new members. And then once the two of us have established that the weights and your form is great, then we can start moving into barbells.
Awesome. I love that approach because, some people just hate going to the gym, and I used to be one of them. And a lot of it is because I just don't know how to use it. So I really like that you work with them at their level and see what they can do because everyone's goals are different. So that's really important to, ask about first. So I like that approach. Could you tell us more about 610 Fitness and how it's different from other gyms that are out there?
So the difference between, I guess, 610 Fitness and all the other gyms is that personal feeling. Everybody here is pretty much family. I have a lot of people that tell me like this is their second home. And again, like I said, the difference between us and these other gyms is that no matter what time of day it is that you're coming in, you have access to a trainer to ask your questions, right? So if I'm working with somebody and we're doing their personal session, right? And somebody comes in for open gym and they're like, well, I really don't know what I want to do today. We have options. So we have a board that's written up every single day that has a workout on it. And it could be a workout of my own thoughts and like what I come up with. Or for instance, since today is the Friday the 13th, 2 days ago, obviously was 9/11. I used a workout that I found online. It's called 23 Fallen Heroes. And that's the workout that everybody was doing today. So when you come in, you have that option of speaking to myself, speaking to another trainer. If you don't know what kind of workout you want to do, we have 2 boards that have options for workouts for you to do. And then if you don't know one of the movements, I can come over and help you with it.
I love that. I really do. I think that that's so cool that you incorporated what is otherwise a really difficult week for so many people and a difficult day for so many people. And that if somebody was coming to your gym on that day who really needed to blow off steam or maybe address some feelings on top of everything else, that they would be able to do that. So that's really cool that you acknowledge sort of 9/11.
Yeah, especially because the fact is not just being a trainer, anybody knows this. I think it's personal trainers, bartenders, hair salon, barbershops. That's our main job, but we're also therapists at the same time, sitting there listening to somebody's feelings and what they have going on.
Yep.
One of the rules I do have is I try to tell people, if there's something bothering you, try to leave that at the door because that can block any mentality you have and actually affect the workout.
1,000,000%. Okay, so next question. If somebody's just starting their fitness journey, what are the things to focus on when they're trying to look at getting like long-term success, right? Because I know there's so many different things to do when you're trying to approach working out. So what would you say are like the main things somebody should focus on?
I mean, the main thing, and the hardest thing is about going to the gym is showing up. But honestly, the hardest thing about coming to the gym is your nutrition. Okay. People think that you can show up to the gym, you can work out every day, and you're going to get in incredible shape. But people need to realize that, for instance, abs, they're built in the kitchen. It's your nutrition that's going to help you have a great workout. So if somebody comes in and says, Zach, I went to McDonald's last night. It was really delicious. I think I earned it from the day before. I can't wait to work out. Unfortunately, that McDonald's is going to slow down their workout and their performance. So, I mean, that's a main thing is nutrition. And then the other thing is coming in is making sure that your form is on point. Like I said before, when you first start, I don't care how much weight you can lift. Okay. You don't move on to the next lift. You don't move up to a heavier weight until your form is good. So, like I said, we have a lot of people that come in here and they're just might be using 5 pounds, right? It could be because their shoulders are too tight. It could be because they're, like I said, they're brand new. But until you can show me proper form, we can't move to the next level. So those are the two, like, I think the main things are, is your nutrition and your form.
I think that's so true because you don't want to injure yourself, and especially if you're trying to do too much because you're like, oh, I can handle like, 20 pounds today or something. But if you're doing it wrong, then yeah, you're out. Then you can't do that for a while. So you're just setting yourself back. Body mechanics is so important in everything that we do, but especially working out. So you just don't want to strain yourself and hurt yourself. So
I totally agree. Zarina and I talked about this in another podcast about the importance of body mechanics and how when I first started working out years ago, I broke both of my knees. I was continuously doing a workout class. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just trying to keep up with everybody else, kept having knee pain, and found out that I had bilateral knee fractures. And so it's really important, I think, especially if you're new to working out. And I know that there's obviously budget considerations, but I do wish that I had just spent the money and seen a trainer just to learn the basics and just to have them be like, dude, you should modify when you do it. Like, you are not burpee ready. You should modify first, so that I wouldn't have gotten hurt. Because when you get injured and you're on these health and weight loss and wellness journeys, it is such a setback and so discouraging.
So to actually piggyback on what you just said, think about it this way, right? People that come to the gym are there for a reason. Their doctor might have said, hey, listen, you gain too much weight. You need to join a gym. You need to get yourself a personal trainer. And the problem is some people go to a Planet Fitness. We'll use that as an example. And that's a judgment-free zone. It's very inexpensive. And the thing about it is there are no personal trainers there. You have your front desk employees, and then you have your people that are cleaning. When you go in there and you go to use a machine, there are people that get into a rut and they just use the same machine and they're just going in a circle and a circle. And they do the same movements every single day. And if they don't know how to use a machine, as I said before, there were QR codes on the side of the machine that sends you to a YouTube video of how to use the machine. That's great. But the thing about it is, once I get on the machine, how do I know it's the right weight that I should use? If it's the leg extension, which is your legs coming out, how do I know it's at the right height on my shins or my ankles, right? So there's no issues. And then, like you just said about going to the gym and you weren't burpee ready, how do you modify that burpee, right? So for here at 610, a modification for the burpee is a slam ball. So we have different sizes of these balls that you slam down and you come back up. So you get the feeling of when you do that jump in the air when you have the ball above your head compared to when you have the ball slamming on the ground. And that's the thing. Everybody that comes through, doesn't matter if you're brand new or if you've been here forever, if I give you that same workout, I can modify that and scale it to your skill level. And that's the objective of coming to the gym, is having somebody there to help you through those hard times, so that when the easy time comes, that trainer goes, hey, by the way, you're doing a great job. Here's a heavier weight. I love you that much. Here's a heavier weight. And that's what you laugh at that, but a lot of my members send me memes and stuff they find on Instagram of exactly what that is. They're like, this is you to the T. They're like, I'm using this 20-pound and you can tell it's light and you don't say anything and you walk up with a 30 and take away my 20 without saying a word, like, and then they'll be like, thank you, I appreciate it.
Nice. I love that. It's like they're graduating and they
Yeah.
did everything right. So here's your next level. So that's awesome. Zach, what are some common mistakes people make when they are starting a workout routine?
So it's just jumping into it. I got lucky with the gym in the sense that my goal was to have everybody come, but I got lucky. It's all females that come to this gym, right? So I don't have to worry about the male ego lifting. You know what I mean? So like a guy comes in and, he can be brand new or whatever. And he's like, I got this. I can lift this. I you know what? It's not going to bother me. And then 2 days later, they come to you and say, hey, listen, so my back hurts. I got lucky with the clientele and the members that I have, that they all listen to what I have to say. They all take into consideration of where they're coming from. I have women that come in here that are brand new to fitness in general. I have women on a weight loss journey, right? I have two separate women right now. One had bariatric surgery, and I don't think the lap band's the same thing, is it?
Yeah, it's a type of surgery.
I know it's a
weight loss
type, but so
surgery,
there's
yeah.
two different ones. Both, might I add, have lost over 100 pounds. Okay, since having the
Amazing.
surgery. Majority of that weight has been lost here. So I don't have to really reiterate to some of these women, except for maybe one or two that want to go to the barbell, that, we have to start with the light dumbbells and kettlebells. And what's great about my gym is that our dumbbells range from 3 pounds all the way up to 100, and our kettlebells range from 5 pounds up to 100. So there's everywhere in between that they can use to still get strong without having to jump to those barbells.
Right.
So I got lucky when it came down to everybody listening and not coming in and ego lifting or saying, like, hey, I used to be an athlete doing this, or I used to go to this personal trainer and we did this. I really appreciate that you went to a different personal trainer, but you're here now, which means that something wasn't working with that trainer. Okay, you might have gotten injured, they might have moved, timing might not have been right. You're here now, let's work it out, and let's see what we can get to. So,
But your gym isn't women focused, is it? Do you take
that's
men
the
and
thing,
women?
though. It's not. When I thought about opening my own gym, I opened up a gym for everybody. But again, men are a little bit of narcissist and egotistical. Okay? And we think we don't need help. That we can just go in there. You guys know this. If you were dating somebody, your husband or whatever, I don't need to ask. I don't need to stop to ask for directions. I know where I'm going. I have, the map. I have GPS.
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Right? It works the same as the gym.
That's a great analogy.
And that's what it is. So I say to myself, like, at least once a month, I'm like, I didn't make this gym just for it to be female dominant. It just happened to turn out that way, that women are a little bit more understanding and realize that there are some times they can't do it on their own and they just need guidance. Where a man goes and walks into the gym and says, you know what, I'm going to go lift this weight, I'm going to go do this, and they leave and you don't see them again. Because either A, they didn't get the workout that they expected, or two, they got hurt. And they're not going to tell you
Right.
Because
Of
again,
course not.
you know, we gotta be a tough guy. We can't show emotion like that. So
Right.
yeah, so I got lucky and blessed every day to have the members that I do. I do, like I said, it's 99% women. And I do have a couple men that come in here and there. I'm trying to grow that with Lifefire, with like working with them to see if there's more men that come in.
We're gonna
Um,
we're, we're
but
gonna
we're
we're gonna
getting
send you
there.
some dudes, but
But
I'm
we're
not
getting
gonna
there.
lie. Literally, what you just said is exactly what they said to me. Like, oh, I know what to do. I got this.
Exactly. But here's the thing, though, right? They say that, and then they're off at these other gyms and they use a Smith machine. So you have power racks, which is actually one behind me. That's a free weight where that's all you. I got to use my core and everything. Where a Smith machine, the bar is connected to the rack, so it doesn't move,
Mm.
right? And there are different style bars. Unfortunately, women's bar is 6 foot long and 35 pounds. A men's bar is 7 foot long and 45 pounds. A Smith machine bar is between 15 and 20 pounds on that machine. So those eagle lifters who are benching, they say 225, in reality, are only benching 190 to 200 pounds. But because they have 445, two on each side, they assume they're doing 225. And then a little guy like myself walks in and does the same weight as them, and they don't understand how. And I don't want to hurt their feelings and tell them this is less weight than you think you're lifting. Yeah. So there's that ego lifting where, like I said, the females, they come in and they're so open to listening to what you have to say and are thankful for even having the opportunity to come in here, you know. And I thank my members every day for allowing me to wake up and show up and work with them. Because without them, this gym doesn't exist.
Right.
Yeah. I find that's true of weight loss too, like what you're saying about men. Like, I think that's why me and Katie see a lot of women, because we're both open to like seeing guys too. But I think, like you had mentioned, Zach, they just find it hard to ask for help. And I think going to somebody like, any three of us, they're just like, yeah, I can figure it out on my own. So that might be the thing.
When I was younger, I was like that. And then as I got older, so let's see, I was 27 to 28, and I started doing CrossFit. And I learned so much from them that it spilled over in my own life. You're learning, commitment, responsibility, just about your body, what you can and cannot do, and the objective of that was I said to myself, I need the help, right? And I went and got the help, just like now. Okay. I know we're going to get into it a little bit later, but I wanted my testosterone tested, and I went and anybody else would be like, nah, I'm good. I got tested and I found out it was low, and I took the proper channels to get to where I need to be. And that's another thing I'm thankful for, is finding Katie and, meeting her. I don't know. I reached out to you guys, over a year ago when you guys first opened up in Havertown, and I was like, hey, anytime, like, you guys want to come in, let's talk. And, you have to take those leaps no matter what. So yeah,
And
I'm
you've
a
always
male.
been so very, very welcoming, Zach. You guys, full disclosure, get like horrible gym anxiety. I am not a gym person. I'm definitely a workout at home Pelotoner type of person for many reasons, also schedule related. But I'm not really a gym person. And Zach invited us.
It kills me that
Zach
It kills me that you do that Peloton stuff, though.
You know what, though? Like I tell my people, something is better than nothing.
It's
that
true.
Being said,
no, it is.
Something is better than nothing. And people have to do things that they can commit to and do regularly. That being said, we did go to Zach's gym. I went with Shara, our office assistant, now office manager, and with my son, Elijah. Right? Did Elijah come? Yeah, Elijah came.
Yeah, it was the three of you.
It was really cool. He did a really good demo. I did not feel anxious at all when I was there. And we all left being like, that was a really positive experience.
But you guys
That was a
actually
really
went
good
through the
experience.
assessment, though.
We
That's the
did.
thing. You guys went through the assessment, which I showed you guys. We go top from bottom. We work with the shoulders all the way down to your bottom, you know? So that, I mean, that's another thing, like I said. So going back to the whole women and men, women are open to working with their entire body. If you ever notice in the gym, where do most of the men spend? Over on the bench. Okay? They're
Their chest.
curling, they're benching, all that stuff, and they forget about their legs. Well, guess what? If you don't have strong legs, you can't hold your upper body, you know? And everybody, if you ever go into a gym on a Monday, you'll notice that the squat racks are pretty bare or have women in it, and the benches are overcrowded with men because Mondays is a bench day, suppose. I don't know why. I squat on that day.
So, Zach, how do you keep people motivated when they hit a plateau or when they're just feeling discouraged? Maybe they had goals that they wanted to accomplish in the gym that aren't happening in the time frame that they wanted. Like, what do you suggest that people do to keep themselves motivated? And then what can you as a trainer do to help these people stay motivated?
So I tell them that I explain to them that in life, you're always going to have that speed bump. You're always going to hit a plateau. And it's not the end of the world, right? I tell them, like, for instance, right, if you are somebody who is trying to lose 50 pounds and say, like, let's just say I'll use a name, let's say it's Karen. Karen weighs 200 pounds, but in high school she was 150, right? And let's say right now she just graduated college. And I tell her, well, you were 150 and you're senior year of high school and it's 4 or 5 years later and you're 200 pounds. It took you 5 years to gain 50 pounds. It's not going to take you 6 months to lose that 50 pounds. Okay? Yep. So I explain to people that the other thing is when working out, when doing strength and conditioning, that the fat that you have, the calories that you burn, the energy that you're putting out is turning that fat into muscle. So some people sit there and say, you know, Zach, I lost 10 pounds, but, you know, I'm still kind of like, you know, I still feel a little bit big, you know, and I explain to them, you know, it's whatever you ate. Then I have people that, you know, sit there and say, hey, I haven't lost any weight, but my clothes are bigger. I don't understand. Like, I'm just so upset about this. Why am I not losing weight? And I explained to them, you just turned 5 pounds of fat into 5 pounds of muscle. Okay? And they're like, yeah, but muscle weighs more than fat. And I said, it doesn't. I said, if I have 5 pounds of fat and I have 5 pounds of muscle, it's still 5 pounds. The only difference is the density and the size. So you get people like that hit that, like you said, a plateau. But they didn't hit a plateau. They are only looking at what the scale says. They're not looking at their energy. They're not looking at their sleep habits. They're not looking at the fact that their clothes are bigger on them, you know? And I tell people, when you do your pictures, right, from the start to end, always wear the same clothing. And then like, right? And I see a lot of places that will take pictures and they're all wearing different outfits. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you can't tell whether or not that person lost weight. You could have a guy who looked like his stomach was sticking out, and then 2 months later he's wearing a different shirt. Well, guess what? Anybody who knows this, they make shirts for people that have bellies so it doesn't look like you have a belly. Okay?
As women, we definitely know this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, there's these t-shirts out there now that are like, they're like form-fitting to your arms and your chest, but they're baggy down here so you don't look or feel.
You're right.
They
always advertise them on Instagram, like around
exactly.
Father's Day.
Exactly. Like, exactly what I'm talking about. The girl's going out on a date with her boyfriend or something like that, and she's like, honey, your shirt, do you really want to wear that? He's like, why? She's like, it's a little tight. Try this on. And he goes, oh, wow, look at that. And she goes, look, honey, no belly. Didn't change anything. You're just hiding the fact that you're still kind of overweight, you know? So when the people have those plateaus, you just got to encourage them. You have to say to them, hey, listen, that's today. Today you might hit a plateau. Let's talk about this in a week, okay? Let's see what happens in a week. Okay, if in a week you're still the same, that means there's something we need to change. Okay, and I tell people all the time, I can control anything going on in the gym, but once they walk out the door, cannot control that. I cannot control your sleeping. I can't control where you go to eat. I can persuade you not to go get that fast food, but you could be one of those people that says, I had a really great workout. My watch told me I burned 400 calories.
Yep.
I deserve to go, and you fill in whatever restaurant you want.
Yep.
Okay.
That is so true.
Yeah, your principles are the same as ours. Honestly, like that's why I want to reframe it as like fat loss and not weight loss, because
Yep.
people get so focused on the scale. Like you said.
You guys, look. So this is what I have in my office. I make people hold this when they're like, I only lost 5 pounds. I'm like, okay, try holding this. 5 pounds is a lot. It's a lot. It's pretty heavy.
Well, see, I don't have that at the gym. I have a 20-pound vest. Right? I have a 20-pound vest.
Yeah.
So, like, the people that come in, they're like, man, like, I don't really feel like I'm lost. Like, they're like, oh, man, I feel like I lost like 20 pounds. I'm like, I don't feel that I'm doing anything, right? So I'm like, all right, I'll tell them, do an air squat, which, nothing underneath you, squat. They'll be like, all right, cool. Then I give them the vest, and I say, put this vest on and try it. And they'll be like, oh, man, that was so much harder. I said, that was you 20 pounds ago. Realize that you were walking around with this weight, and this is what you weigh now. So I said, be proud of yourself. Be proud of the fact that you do it, I said, and if there's somebody who gained even more weight, you hand them a 20-pound vest, and then you say, here's X amount of dumbbells. Hold them on both sides. Now let me see you walk down the hall. And let them realize this is how much weight you were before. When you first started, this is how much you weighed. This is the struggle you had. Now, then I tell them, take it all off again. Give me that air squat again. And they're like, what? It's like air. I said, exactly. I said, you got to realize where you came from. If I had what you had, the fat right there, it'd be great. But what I use is like I used to use my slam balls, right? They come in different sizes, but they're the same weight. So I have a slam ball that's like this big, that's 10 pounds, and then one that's this big, that's 10 pounds. And I explained to them, this is the fat, this is the muscle. They both weigh the same. It's just the size of it. And I also try to tell people to think about their palm, right? Say my entire palm is a pound of fat, but I take my fist, this is a pound of muscle, and I put it here. And I say, look, I can fit 2 pounds of muscle where that fat was, so that they realize, well, I can fit more muscle into my body than that fat. That fat just sits there,
Yeah. And I think it's hard for people to realize if they're working out all the time and like that, there's those day-to-day things, they might not notice it, but you have to like think of it from a different time period, from like before they started working out to like now after like a few months. So I think that's an important way to phrase it, like especially with the pictures. That's another thing I tell my clients too. Like, compare your pictures like before you started weight loss meds and then to now. Like you will see the difference. But like versus every day you're looking at yourself in the mirror, like you can't really tell the minute differences week after week. So I try to get people not to like focus so much on the scale and stuff
the
like
thing
that.
about that, what you said about looking in the mirror, you look at yourself in 12 months, right? In the first 3 months, you don't see anything. Other people will start to notice your change in 3 months. In the next 3 months, so that's 6 months in, you notice that your energy gets a little bit better. Your stamina picks up. 9 months into that is when you personally will see your results. 9 months after you started. And then once you hit 12 months, it is now not just working out. It's not a habit. It's not a hobby. It's a lifestyle. Okay. And people don't understand that using the fat loss, or like coming to see Katie or coming to see me, that this is not going to happen overnight. We have to work on it, and you have to be consistent with this. You can't be like, all right, one month I'm going to do it. The next month, hey, I'm not. I can't, And the thing that I kind of want to piggyback on is when you said about sometimes people might not be able to afford it.
Mm-hmm.
Putting that money out for the gym now is going to save you money in the long run, because you could be diabetic, you could have high blood pressure, cholesterol, all that stuff. But once you start working out, once you start eating healthier, once you start working with somebody for your fat loss, guess what? That money that you were spending on medications and whatnot, you can now put towards the gym. And because you're getting healthier, guess what? You're looking better. You got extra money. There's a vacation for you, right? All this stuff adds up.
Yep.
Okay.
It definitely does. And I think, Zach, that sometimes when I unpack this with patients in particular who are like, oh, I don't know, it seems really expensive and I've wasted so much money on gyms before. I'm like, well, what happened the last time that you tried to join a gym? And a lot of times it's because they joined a gym or saw a trainer and they never came back and they weren't consistent. It's going to be worth the money if you actually stick with it and you actually show up.
Well, that's the
and so
thing.
oftentimes I think that's some of the fear too, when I think people just have to commit themselves to, you know what, I'm showing up this time.
We'll just think of it this way, right? Another analogy. Something's wrong with your car, right? You're going to go take it to the mechanic and get it fixed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't you do the same thing for yourself? Invest in yourself. Doing fat loss, working out at a gym, getting a trainer. You're investing in yourself, okay? You put money out for your house to fix it, to make sure it's painted, to make sure it's nice, right? Do the same thing for yourself, right? I tell people sometimes, I know that some, and I'll use women, they want to go get their nails done and get their mani and pedis, and I completely understand it. But when you go twice a month, that adds up, okay? Great. You guys ever hear, you can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig, right?
Yeah.
You can go get your makeup on, you can go get your nails done, but at the end of the day, are you that happy, okay, with the way you look? Get that body that you want and work hard for it, and guess what? You'll have that money because you won't be spending on medications or over-the-counter stuff you find to, get your nails done and whatnot. A lot of people come in here and they'll tell me like, hey, I went to go get this job. I didn't get it. And I try to explain to people sometimes that companies, when hiring, on paper, you could be the most amazing person in the world. But unfortunately, some companies look at people and look at the way they're dressed or the way they're built. And if you are somebody who looks like they're overweight, sometimes, unfortunately, a company looks at it like you're not going to be here in the long run, or you're going to really be using a lot of your benefits for medications, doctor visits, hospital visits, So getting your health in order, honestly, getting that determination, getting that commitment will actually help you get better jobs, because you'll feel better, you'll look better, and any corporate job or anywhere you go, you look up, it's like, that's somebody we know we can invest in because they're investing in themselves and they want to be here.
Yep. And when you are taking care of yourself, you also have more confidence to kill it in an interview. That feeling when you're like, I feel like I look my best, I think infiltrates into all other aspects of your lives, including your work and your job, right? If you feel like you look good, you're more likely to deliver better, I think. If you're just
of course, because but the thing is with COVID, the downfall in it is what we're doing right now is the Zoom, where everybody's like, all right, we get right here, and then you go in for that second interview, and that person goes, well, you're great on paper, and they tell you everything you want to hear, and then you get that phone call and say, oh, well, hey, so we thought we're going to go in a different direction, and they never tell you why. Okay, and again, it's your confidence, it's the way you feel, and then what happens is you don't get that job, and you go, and what do? You eat, you get the depression, and whatnot. Like I said, I've had a girl that was like that here. She was 100% qualified for the job. and they went in a different direction, you know, and her confidence went down. And she came to the gym, and at that point, like if it was a personal training, how am I going to make her feel better about herself? You know, we put on her favorite, you know, Taylor Swift or whatever it is, you know, anything, you know, to mix, you know, the music in the gym, I will tell you right now, makes a huge difference
It's the
too.
vibe, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It changes the vibe. Okay. So, yeah.
That's
Awesome.
amazing.
610 sounds like so much fun. I'd love to go next time I
It's a
happen to be
little
in the
bit,
States.
little bit of a commute for you, Zarina.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. Katie's not that far, and she only showed up that one time.
I did because I'm self-aware. I'm not a gym person. I talk to my patients about this all the time. You have to be self-aware enough to know what's going to work for you and what you're going to be able to commit to. For me, I can commit to my health. I cannot commit to going to a gym every week, but I will tell you this, I have a ton of clients right now who prefer a gym. They want the socialization. I had 3 people in one day the other day tell me like, yes, tell me more about this gym because I absolutely need a reason to not be around my husband and kids.
Well, that's the
And
thing, because they're trying to get out of the house.
They want to get out of the house and they want that break and they
But
need that
see, the
break.
thing is, you have to find that time. Because the thing is, I tell people all the time,
Yep.
there's 24 hours in a day. All I'm asking you to do is take 1 hour
Yep.
for you, just for you. Okay.
Yep.
When people come into the gym, I say, I don't care what she's doing on this side, or I don't care what he's doing on this side. The only person you need to compete with is yourself.
It's yourself. Yep.
Only person you need to worry about in the gym is yourself. You're not here for Heather to her workout. You're here for you. Okay. So for you, using your Peloton, wherever it may be in your house, for you, it could be in the basement, still away from, you know, your family. But,
Yes, it is.
you know, exactly. But it's, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, there's like a sign on the door that says, don't bother me for an hour.
Right.
But yeah, so, I mean, everybody has their thing, you know?
Yes.
It could be yoga. It could be Zumba, you know? Whatever fits their schedule, you know? And like you said, something's better than nothing.
Something is better than nothing. And I also think there is something to be said to getting out of the house. You know, I think Sabrina's the same way. I feel like I'm constantly running around everywhere, but a lot of my patients are busy in a different way, right? They're working from home and they're constantly at a computer and then they go and they pick up their kids at their home again. So they don't get a lot of time just to like be elsewhere, in which case going to a gym is beneficial in multiple ways, not just for your physical health, but also for your mental health, just to not look at the same people all day. So I think that I truly, genuinely think that it is something that is very, very beneficial for many, many people.
Yeah, but for you, you got the Peloton. So if you're riding the bike, you could go pick your scenery anytime you wanted.
I can. And I will say this, for me, I enjoy the bike, but it also isn't the only workout that I do. And I try to use movement and fitness as also a way to get time in with my kids, especially since I've been so busy with like 2 locations and everything else. So it's really nice. My son is like a track star. A lot of times I'm not doing the Peloton at all. I'm waking up at 5 a.m. and going on a run with him. And that's like our time together. So, you know, but that is something that took work, right? I wouldn't have been able to run with him 2 years ago when I was 70 pounds heavier. I had to put in the work first. And now I'm able to reap those benefits. Now I can like race little Max to the bus stop. Now I can go on workouts with Elijah. I mean, I still struggle because he's like 1,000,000 feet tall. But my point is that it took work to be able to get there. And you have to fit your fitness in whatever way is going to work best for you.
But see, what's great about that is the example you're setting for the kids. Okay? To show that, yeah, guess what? I get up in the morning and I go run with you. Or I get up and I go and I ride my Peloton. Or I get up and I go to the gym. You're setting an example for your kids. So again, think about that too when you're going to do your fitness. Yes, it's for you, but your family is a part of you. So when you go to the gym and your kid says, Mommy, where were you? Like, I woke up, you weren't here. You know, I'm hungry. And you're like, well, where's your dad at? Well, he's sleeping. I was waiting for you. Mommy was getting in shape so that, you know, we can go play later, you know?
That's so true. I love that.
So I'd love to switch gears, and I would love to hear more about testosterone and how you've been working with Katie at Lifefire to accomplish your goals.
Well, before Katie, I thought I was strong and I thought I was in really good shape. And I realized that I was a little sluggish I realized that I was hitting my own plateaus in the gym and had no idea what was going on. And sexually, I felt that I was not uh, getting to my peak performance in that. I messaged Katie and I said, hey, I want to come in and get tested for testosterone. And I've been on it now for 3 months. And surprisingly enough, like I had gained a lot of weight over the course of the couple years. Like I thought at my heaviest I was 185. Here it is. At one point, I was trying to compete for a powerlifting. I was like, I want to get to 200 pounds. This is before even talking to Katie, and I was doing the whole bulk thing and lifting heavy, or at least I thought I was. And I got up to 195 pounds, and I didn't feel right, right? But then the past 3 months, I've had more energy on the testosterone. I just got weight today. I'm 190 pounds, but I am so much leaner than I was before, right? Having low testosterone really affects you. It made me sluggish. It made me overweight. I just, like I said, I wasn't at my peak. And then taking the testosterone and also getting my B12 shots too. Can't forget that. Made me feel so much better. I've had so much more energy, happier. Like I said, I've actually gotten stronger now that I'm at the same level as somebody else with normal testosterone. Okay. When you have low testosterone, like it truly affects your daily life. And like you think you're happy and you're not, and then getting somewhere where and taking it and getting to a level of testosterone that is considered normal or in that normal range, it really opens up things a lot. Like I said, my lifting in the gym has skyrocketed. My stamina has gotten better with my cardio. Um, you know, other parts of the aspects, people are happier now. They're not worried. Is it
Love that for
me?
you.
Are you not attracted to me? No, it's not
Right.
what this situation is. So what that whole thing where people say, is it you? And they go, no, it's me. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was probably the best decision I ever made. I've worked out with other people that have tried to build their testosterone in an unorthodox way, and they've gotten stronger, but they don't look it. And I went and took the right channels, and like I said, I went from being like 195 pounds of like bulkiness to 190, and my waist has gotten smaller, chest has gotten bigger, my quads have gotten bigger, I've gotten so much stronger, I feel so much better. Like I said, when I saw Katie the last time, she could tell how happier I was.
It was so crazy, Zarina. He looks like his whole aura is totally different. It's like a totally different man walked in the door. Truly, it was really, really like to the point where before we even drew his levels, I was like, he definitely is at an optimal testosterone level because you could just tell. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
It was really, really amazing and very gratifying to see.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, do you remember the levels that he started at? And like you said, you redrew. So like, what is it at now?
So when we first did it, it was low 300s. And then when we tested again, it was 911.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for listeners who don't know, so we're talking about free testosterone.
Yeah.
You want to be typically, I think, around 900 to 1200. And this could all differ depending on your provider. But insurance, if you try to do it through your primary care, I don't think they even start treating until you're like in the 200s. But you're already symptomatic at like 300, like Zach had mentioned.
Even 400.
So it was low. It was low, and I've never tested for it, so I had no idea what to even expect. And going in to see Katie, not just testing testosterone. I mean, we went full blood work here. We're talking cholesterol, hemoglobin, iron, everything, and it tells you huge in depth about where your body is and what changes you need to make besides that testosterone. So like going to Lifefire was probably the best decision to make.
It makes me so happy, and it makes me so happy to see how incredibly successful you've been. I'm just like so excited for you because I agree. I think that having optimal testosterone levels is literally like it literally changes your life. It literally just makes you go from feeling so incredibly blah, and I think lack of motivation. I don't know if that's sort of one of the things that you were feeling, Zach, but like feeling just totally unmotivated and so incredibly blah to like just feeling like yourself again, yourself X amount of years ago is such an amazing feeling for so many men. And I'm so glad that you've been able to benefit from it.
Well, no, exactly. Like I said, like being like, when you're in your teens, you got all this energy, hormones are going wild and stuff. And as you get older, you find out that your testosterone just starts to dwindle down. And you're not the same person as you were 10 years ago. Like I said, like you said in the beginning, I have an 8-year-old son, okay? And I tell him every day, Joey, I'll run circles around you until the day I die, okay? And I do. And the thing about it is what's great about it is starting this and using it in the summer, picking him up and throwing him in the air, right?
I love that.
So now he wants to go as high as he can. And now we are. Okay. He gets up there high and he gets that little scream and he comes down, but like he loves it. And and the thing is, I'm gonna be 40 in November, and there were people that I'm seeing that I graduated with who don't look as happy as me, whatever their lifestyle may be. But I look at them and I'm like, why do you guys all look so much older than me?
Yeah.
Or why do you guys not seem like you have the same energy as me? There are people that come in here that are like a little bit younger than me or the same age as me. And I'm like, why is it that I feel like I'm like a spring chicken over here and I'm doing all this stuff and you guys are like, and I'm not saying just the men. There are women that come in here too that you think would have more energy too, but they don't. Right? And then what's the first thing I tell them? Like, man, you know what you guys should do? If you guys go right over there, I have these pamphlets from Lifefire. You guys should go check that out, And I tell people all the time. I have one woman who keeps telling me, a doctor keeps telling me to get B12. I was like, well, what are you waiting for to go over there? What do you mean? I was like, I've told you where to go. Okay? In my window right now is the flyer that you gave me. So it's there for people to see. Okay? Right as soon as you walk in my door, there are the flyers. There are the pamphlets that you gave me. Okay? So it's not like people don't know. They have that opportunity. That. It's about taking that chance.
Yep. And I think it's great that you leave the flyers there just for the same reason like I leave 610. We have like a little 610 fitness area now over at Lifefire. And I tell people,
upgraded them from yesterday.
You did? Are they the ones that you recently left?
So yeah, so I'm saying I left you those recent ones.
The ones that I saw,
I gave you those other printout ones. I gave you some professional ones this time.
Yeah, I was gonna say these look legit. I just ordered when I saw it, I was like, oh, let me just order like some brochure holders and stuff so we can have like now that like people already were seeing it, but so that people can see it, because I think people, as an aside, would really benefit from going to the gym. But that being said, I think for some people it's like you can say it and you can say it and you can say it, but it just has to click and they have to be like, you know what, I'm actually going to do it. Which I think is sort of the benefit of seeing these things.
A girl right upstairs, she works at shop. For the longest time, she kept going, I need to go to the gym. I need to go to the gym. Right? And then we finally got one of those double-sided chalkboards so that we put whatever promotion's going on, and it sits outside. And I put it directly in front of, this is right in front of a restaurant. So people at the restaurant, when they're sitting outside, they see it. People walking up and down see it. So the girl works at shop, and she saw it. And she was like, well, there it is. Literally, there's my sign. I need to go downstairs. And she started last week. And then she got one of her coworkers to start this week. And they got another coworker that's coming next week. So
That's so great. And they're doing themselves such a good service by seeing you. I keep saying this, but don't end we were just saying I used the Peloton, but long before my Peloton days, like I said, I injured myself and I stayed obese for an extra year and a half because I tried to do things on my own without any instruction and I hurt myself. You are saving yourself so much time and energy just by having someone to direct you. Like
but the thing
part of
about is
being
having
successful is being self-aware enough to be like, you know what? I don't really know what I'm doing here. I need a little bit of help.
But having that trainer doesn't mean that you need to be relying on them 24/7. Nor does it mean you have to be relying on them for the rest of your life. You build a bond and you're like, listen, this is really working for me. I want to stick with it. Because
Right.
what happens is, as you start feeling more confidence and as you get stronger, having that trainer means that they're going to challenge you more. Okay? And it's great to have the student get so strong that they're stronger than the teacher. Okay?
That's dope.
You know, like I want everybody that comes in this door to be happy. They might not be happy when they first walk in. They might not be happy with what's on the board. But at the end of the day, when they're done and everything's over with, because everybody looks forward to when that workout's over, because then it's done, they're happy that they showed up. And that's the objective, is for them to be happy about coming into the gym and not like dreading it.
Yes, exactly.
And like you said, it has to click in your head whether or not to show up. And something in your life is gonna affect you to the point that you sit there and say, I gotta get up, I gotta change something. You know, you injured yourself, like you said, you injured yourself, and for another year you just sat out. Okay,
Yep.
and something clicks in your head, and you're like, I need to get moving. And like you said, it doesn't matter what it was, but you have to start somewhere. And having that trainer is going to start you fresh. It's going to start you from scratch, from the beginning. Instead of you hopping into some gym and hopping into some class that you thought looked great online, look, wow, look at all these people, right? But those people, just like these like influencers on Instagram, they work to get there. Okay? They didn't just show up in their, smoking body or something like that,
You're so
you
right.
have to work to get to it. You only see what's on the surface, right?
Yep.
It's just like an iceberg. You see what's on the top.
Yeah.
You don't see everything underneath, all right? Or a duck. A duck looks super calm on the lake, but you don't see their feet pedaling like crazy underneath.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Zach has some deep analogies. I'm like, R.I.P. Titanic.
I know.
I didn't just go to school. I don't just lift weights. I do have a degree, You know. I try to hide the smart side of me. So people don't ask for stuff. If people found out that I was handy, I'd have to do so much work.
Man.
Oh, you kidding me? No,
You have another business.
I have brand new lights in here. I had to put them in. I did that. The maintenance in here, I do it. Putting the equipment together, that's me. I don't tell people.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't tell people that.
Yeah,
because
you gotta keep that on.
No,
there.
that's
what happens.
You better hope I forget, Zach.
Because then you get those phone calls. Then you get those phone calls and say, "Listen, I was just at IKEA. I need you to put this together." Because IKEA, nobody understands IKEA.
I know.
Yeah, you gotta do that for a fee or barter or something. Like, what do I get in exchange?
Yep. So Zach, tell us, what advice would you give to somebody who is considering doing testosterone therapy and maybe they already work out or are active already? Like, what advice would you give them in terms of keeping up with their fitness routine or anything different or things that you sort of have had to change or shift since starting testosterone therapy?
So, for anybody who's interested in testosterone or feels that, hey, maybe something's lacking in my workout, get tested. There's no harm in that at all. Okay?
Exactly.
Because, again, like I said, the results that I got from getting my blood work was not just testosterone. Okay?
Yep.
There was prostate. There was like good cholesterol, bad cholesterol, everything. If you have that opportunity, take it. Do it. Right? Because if your testosterone is low and you have somebody like Katie that's going to guide you through where you need to go, and say, all right, let's start you off on this dosage. Same thing as when I say somebody comes in the gym. Let's start you off at this weight. You have to start somewhere, okay? Yep. So I think that there's a lot of guys out there who think they're doing great, and then they feel sluggish or they feel like that wasn't even a great workout, go get tested, right? Go get tested. See if something is wrong internally, okay? See if there's something wrong with, you might have low iron or you might have that low testosterone. You don't know until you get tested, okay? It works for anything. Like, so if you have, let's say prostate cancer, or you have any kind of cancer that runs in your family, go get tested for it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It applies for everything. So, and then once you're on it, right, change up the routine that you had in the gym, because obviously whatever you were doing before was not working for you, right? This is a whole new slate when you take this testosterone, okay? You're starting from scratch, okay? You now have, I'm gonna explain this. You have the cup of youth, basically. You know what I mean? Of youthfulness being handed to you, being put into your body to help you feel better than you did before, right? So take that opportunity, start from scratch, right? Don't think about, all right, great, I'm on testosterone. You know what that means? I can lift heavy right away. No. Once I was on it and I started from scratch. I took all that numbers that I had that were heavy and I dropped down to 50% of all my lifts and started from there.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. And built my way back up to the point that last week was my personal record days, meaning finding new reps. Okay. I'm going to use some words that maybe some people might understand. A front squat, holding the weight here and squatting, it was 285. Guess what? It's 300. I had a bench press that was 280, 285. It's 290. I had a deadlift that was 465. It's 500. I had a back squat that was like 380. It's 405.
What?
Okay? All I did, and like I said, all I did was go get tested, find out it was low, take my testosterone like I'm supposed to, and start from scratch and build my way back up. I have, like I said, more energy, a lot more happier, in better shape. Every year I tell myself, I want to be in the best shape of my life for my birthday. Well, guess what? I think this is the year when I turn 40 that I'm going to be in the best shape
That's
of
a
my
big
life.
one. Yeah, hell yeah.
Huge.
It is. I feel so much better. So many people have said, you've slimmed down, you're looking so much better. And for a lot of people, like when they turn 40, like people dread it. I'm not dreading turning 40, okay? Because I look at people legit, and I hate saying this, like it makes me sound old, half my age not doing what I'm doing. Okay?
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have been if I hadn't taken that chance and that shot to go get my testosterone tested, and find out it was low. Okay. What is it? What's the phrase? You miss all the shots that you don't take. Okay. I took a shot on myself, took a shot on Katie. I trusted her. I trusted the team over there. By the way, they're all super nice. Okay. Like the minute you walk in, like it's high energy. Okay. You can't even come in there trying to be depressed at all. Like you can't. Like, if you do, you might as well walk back out, honestly. You don't have the opportunity. There's so much energy going on, and it's very well lit, too.
Yeah. I mean, adding to your point, like, age is nothing but a number, and I feel like people get so stuck on that. Like you said, oh, I'm turning 40, and some people think like, oh gosh, I'm old now and I can't do anything. Like, no, like I've seen people that are older that are in their 50s and their 60s and they're still working out and still putting the effort. It's really just all about mindset. So, congrats, and I'm happy that you went to Katie. And just another aside is that like, you don't routinely get tested for testosterone with your doctor. Like that is not a test that they will do every year compared to like your blood count and
it's not something to think about.
No, because I don't know, maybe it's insurance that doesn't want to cover it, too complicated. I don't know the reason why. So unfortunately, this is something that you have to advocate for yourself and seek out if it's something that you're interested in. So.
Yep.
It is. And like I said, meeting Katie a year ago, I don't think that was an option a year ago, though. You were just getting into helping out.
we were
Yeah,
just starting the weight loss.
yeah,
We were just kind of, and then we added in the HRT, the men's health
you
stuff.
did, you did. And I, like I said, a year ago, I didn't think about it. I honestly didn't. And then, like I said, as the year went on and working out and everything, and I thought I was getting stronger, and I just felt like nothing was being accomplished. Um,
Mm.
and let's see, 3 or 4 months ago, I messaged Katie. I said, like, you know what? I want to come in and want to get tested for testosterone. I think something's up. I think it's really low. And I was very open from the beginning. Like I said, my testosterone was low, my confidence was low. I was not getting the erections that you should be getting on those daily bases, or you should be getting right away when you're being intimate with somebody. If you're laying in bed with somebody and you're attracted to them, you should be aroused. Wasn't getting that, you know? And
I really respect you being open and transparent about that, because as you know, you are not alone. There are going to be tons of men listening right now who are like, oh my God, that's me. And they're just kind of living that way. And they might have a partner who's frustrated, who thinks that it is them.
that's the thing. And
when
I
really
had
it's something
that.
else.
I literally was getting, is it me? Like, are you not attracted to me? And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
it's not that at all. Like, I am. Like, I'm telling you right now, inside right now, there's this little dude going, yeah, yeah, yeah. But he's not showing up to the party right now. You know what I mean? And
That is so frustrating.
It is because your partner or whoever it may be, wife, girlfriend, spouse, anything, the first thing they're going to think is, you're not attracted to me. Are you going somewhere else? Are you getting this somewhere else? And it's like, no, I'm not. And they're like, but what about me? I'm like, no. Like I said, I'm telling you right now, like, my heart rate is going up. I'm excited. I'm ready to go. And then no show. So, like, and the thing is, some people say to me, like, aren't you like a little ashamed to be like telling people that? And I'm gonna be 40 years old. I don't really care anymore. Like,
isn't that the best?
like it's like what's the point? And then again, it makes you feel old, because if you ever know about old people, they don't care what comes out of their mouth. Okay.
So true.
But I said at this point, as in my life, I was like, yeah, I have a kid, and I'm going to be 40, and it's just something missing. Okay. And again, I don't want to be disappointing my partner, okay, or them thinking, it's them, and you have to explain every single time, like, it's me, and it takes a little bit extra time to do the work, So I will say this real quick, though: no matter male or female, foreplay is a must. Okay, you can't just jump into sex, people. You gotta work for it. All right, but yes, no, go in there, testosterone and everything. It definitely is a life changer.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy and so proud of you and all of the progress that you've made. And like I said, Zarina, I wish you could see like the difference. My man came in like super confident, all swaggy, looking all lean the last time I saw him. It was like, it's like night and day.
Zach, so where can we find you? Do you have Instagram or website?
So I do. My Instagram handle is 610 Fitness. We are also 610 Fitness on Facebook. We have a website, which is 610fitnessdelco.com. And if you are visiting the Philadelphia area, we are located at 1001 Baltimore Pike, Springfield, PA, zip code 19064. And we are suite 10, lower level.
Awesome. And what are your hours?
That's awesome.
So if you want a trainer in front of you, Monday through Friday, that is 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. I do take off on Saturdays because I do need a day off, and I would like to spend some time with my son. And then Sundays, I'm here from 8 to 12. But we do have, for certain members who who can't make it in during that time, depending on like what their work schedule is, if they're nurses, if they're EMTs and stuff like that, we do have key access to get into the gym, which they know that I have a camera,
that's so cool.
So I can watch. Okay, so that I know whether or not somebody's messing around in here, or if somebody does get hurt, It is on camera. I can see it, and I can make sure that, 911's called if they haven't gotten to it already.
That's
Great.
so cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And of course, at Lifefire, we have all of their information here. And if you have more questions, you can always reach out to me.
And then if there's anybody that has questions about Lifefire, I have all those pamphlets here at 610 Fitness.
So there's no excuse.
There's there is
excuse
there's
for
literally
either.
no excuse for somebody to sit there and say, hey, as much as I'm working out in the gym, there's something else I'm missing, okay? And that's when they go to Lifefire, okay? Because they can talk about nutrition, they can talk about fat loss, not weight loss, because weight loss is a very broad thing. Weight
So
loss
true.
can mean fat and muscle.
Right.
That's why you have to use the word fat loss, like you said.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much,
So
Zach, for being
true.
on the podcast.
Thank you so much for coming and chatting with us. It's been
Oh,
a
God.
pleasure.
Are you kidding me? I was so excited about this. Somebody told
We're
me that
so excited to have you.
somebody told me I finally made it because I was on a podcast. They were like, "You're famous now. You're important because you're on a
Hell
podcast."
yeah. Yeah.
You were already important because everybody knows about 610 Fitness. Even my
I know,
patients
you
are like, "Oh, I've
you
heard
said
of that
that.
place."
I know.
Did
You
you-
said
they-
last time I came in there, like you were like, "Oh, what about 610 Fitness?" They were like, "I already heard about that place." But they heard about it. But where
but
are
they don't
they?
realize how personalized of an experience it is. So, like I said, a lot of people, I think they're scared to finally go to the gym. And now that they've lost a decent amount of weight, it's time to focus on their fitness. And so Shara and I have started to make a big push to be like, it's time to get physically active.
No, it's time
This
for them to
is-
watch
this
this
is-
podcast. That's what it is. They
Very
need to watch
true.
this
Very true,
pod-
which
those
so many of our
members-
clients do.
Those clients need to watch this podcast so they realize that we're friends and that it's personal here.
Absolutely. It absolutely is. Thank you so much, Zach. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you soon, or I'll
All right.
see you soon anyway.
All right. Thank you.
See ya. Absolutely. Bye-bye.
If you've enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to subscribe to our podcast, give us a rating, and share with your family and friends who might find it helpful.
And remember, we love hearing from our listeners. Connect with us on our social media channels or shoot us an email with your thoughts, questions, or suggestions for future topics. Don't forget to check out our website, www.theweightinnpeace.com, and to follow us on Instagram at theweightinnpeace.
If you need one-on-one help with your weight loss or wellness journey, book a private consultation with us. The A-List Clinic can be reached at www.thealistclinic.com or on Instagram and TikTok at The A-List Clinic.
And my clinic, Lifefire Weight and Wellness, can be reached at www.lifefireweight.com or on Instagram and TikTok at LifefireWeight.
Thanks again for tuning into the Wayne Podcast with your hosts, Katie and Zarina. Until next time, take care and be well.
The information in this podcast is for general information only. It is not intended as medical advice and should not be relied upon as a substitute for medical consultation with a qualified medical provider familiar with your medical needs.